And now, introducing Casey Carter.
It's Casey, and it's time for Casey at Night. Sorry for the minor delay. I was still getting myself all set up, all organized, and then I realized not only was it time to start the show, I hadn't done the edit of the title, so when it posts to YouTube, it would be all set and done. But you don't care about all of that. Welcome, 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 welcome to the show. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Um, I don't know about you, but whew, it's been a week. It has been a week. And I'm not even talking about the stuff in the news. I'm talking just life in general. Things going on at my day job and all of these amazing stories I want to tell you on my night job. And I'm like exhausted. I don't know about all of you, but I'm like bona fide exhausted. On top of the fact that I'm having like eyelash problems, and that's kind of messing with me a little bit. But really exciting news. I get a Peloton tomorrow. Yes! Casey is getting a Peloton tomorrow. Don't be surprised if I one day just show up on my Peloton. I don't know how I'm gonna finesse that. But don't be surprised if I try to do the show from a Peloton. I know that would be absolutely insane, but we're gonna go for it, people. We're gonna go for it. So if you've got a Peloton, I've got a Peloton. Well, as of tomorrow, I've got a Peloton. And you'll be able to find me easy because I'm Casey at Night on Peloton. In the Peloton world, you can find me at Casey at Night. So, hey, hit me up. Start following. Let's work out together. Get on that bike. I don't know about you. I don't know if you're a morning biker, an evening biker, but hey, like I said, hit me up on Peloton at Casey at Night and we'll start riding together. Getting that summer girl, or as my daughters keep telling me, hot girl body. Hot girl summer, I don't know, whatever. Yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan. So anyway, once again, welcome to the show. Um, there's a lot that I want to do. Tonight is going to be sort of a down and dirty, fast and hard. There's a lot I want to say. A lot I want to talk about. You know, women, black women. All right, so here's the deal. All right. Let me get focused. I want to start off first by talking about, hey, Duchess. I want to first start the night by talking about the Equal Rights Amendment. Let me say it again. Equal Rights Amendment. Some of you may have no clue what the Equal Rights Amendment is. Let me, first of all, let's start with, let's see. Let's start with what we get. Equal Rights Amendment. If the Equal Rights Amendment were ratified, and this is to kind of help you who think about the civil rights and some of the other things that say you can't discriminate because of age or race or religion or familial status. I want you to realize there's nothing that says that as a woman, I cannot be discriminated against. So if you recall last week, I did a what the fuck piece where I talked about the women in the state of Georgia who were fired because their period broke through, right? Crazy. But think about that. What it boils down to is they're women. And as a woman, they have these menstrual cycles. And if any woman who has a menstrual cycle can attest to, every now and then that sucker breaks through. It just does what it does, and there's no controlling it, and it is what it is. So think about it. In a state like Georgia, where you can get fired for a breakthrough flow, that's only happening to those of us who menstruate, which means it's only happening to women. So the point of the Equal Rights Amendment is that it would provide equal protection from discrimination for all people, regardless of sex. So if the Equal Rights Amendment, if the ERA were ratified, we couldn't get fired just because we have a period. It would be a clear federal standard that everybody would have to abide by. Okay. It would also prevent things like Roe versus Wade from being rolled back, and anything female or woman related. We would have this automatic federal level protection. Okay. Um, the one thing that the Constitution doesn't specify, one of the things I should say, is that it doesn't specify that we as women have equal rights. Now think about it. We fought for civil rights so that African Americans could vote, so that women can vote. Women can vote, but that has nothing to do with whether or not we're discriminated against. Okay? What we need is a clear definition, a clear law, a clear word that says everybody's equal. Sex, race, what have you. We don't have that protection. I want you to think about this. And I'm gonna say this. We all take certain things for granted. Women, there are those of us who own homes, we own cars, we own businesses. We, all of these things that we see men do, we do. The truth is, we don't get to do it on the same level because we don't have the same level of rights. Plain and simple. In the state of Florida, they have something called homestead. Homestead is related to real estate, is related to your home. So think about way back in the day when women couldn't own property. Homestead was an act that ensured that if the husband died, that the family, the wife, the children, the what have you, would not be removed from the property because they didn't own the property. Husband owned property, wife owned nothing. Okay? Think about this, people. ERA, Equal Rights Amendment. Okay? Another thing that is important to the Equal Rights Amendment. Unless we put into the Constitution the bedrock principle that equality of rights cannot be denied or abridged on account of sex, the political and judicial victories women have achieved over 2 centuries are vulnerable to erosion or reversal at any time. Again, we have no federal level protection. So, let me give you a little history. The Equal Rights Amendment was first introduced as a legislative bill in March 22nd of 1972. It had to be ratified by 3/4 of the 50 states. 3/4 of the 50 states equals 38 states. They had 7 years to get the ratification. So 50 states, 3/4 of those, 38 states, 7 years to get 38 states to ratify the Equal Rights Amendment. Let me show you where we're at. We have, and the green are states that have ratified the ERA. The white are the states that have not ratified the ERA. As of January 23rd, 2020, finally got the 38th state to ratify the ERA. But here's the problem. It had to have been done by 1979. Deadline. blown way out the water. Way out the water. What does that tell you about the fact that it took, I don't have time for the math, a bajillion years to get to 38 states? On top of the fact, there are about 5 states who had the audacity to say, you know what? We change our mind. We're going to rescind our ratification. Just so you know, you can't rescind it. You can make it, you can like give it, you can ratify, but you can't take it back once you've given it. But the question is, if we got the 38 states, why is this not now a law? Because there was a deadline. In order to change the deadline, Congress has to get together and say, oh, okay, all right, well, you got your 38 states. All right, well, good. We'll forget about the 7-year thing. This ain't even a topic in the news, right? Like in 2020, we got the 38 states. And I remember seeing that blip on the news. Where are we now? We're nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. And hold on one second. I got to do something here. Sorry. Had to plug in. Whew. Told you I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. Anyway, so my friends, I'm calling you my friends. Here's the deal. We need to call our representatives. We need to say, hey, we got the 38 states. Where's our protection? We got to make it happen, y'all. We have to get this done. Why am I bringing this up? Because, as I said last week, they are still enacting things that work against women. And without ratifying the ERA, we are continually going to be manipulated, controlled, told what we can and can't do, and we won't have any legal protections. Call your state representatives regarding the ERA. That's my quickie for the day. Like I said, this is going to be a down and dirty on this one. I want to give you more, and I will be back with more on the ERA. But allow me to shout out a few folks here. Hey, Christopher Markland, author. How you doing, love? Good to see you. Haven't seen you in a month of Sundays. And thanks for joining the show. And shout out to Jason. Jason, I'm sure I'm going to see you again at 10. I love the fact that you show up here at 8. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for all the support. Christopher Markland, I'm about to reach out to you because I'm going to be doing something and I wanted to invite you. So just hold on to that thought while we take this quick commercial break. All right. So tonight's topic is forgive me my notes. Tonight's topic is basically about African American women, the Jezebel stereotyping of African American women, the barriers to our sexuality, the fetishsizing of our sexuality, the things that prohibit us from living free in our sexuality. Because let's just be honest, Black girls got it going on. Yes, I said it. Black girls got it going on. But did you know the portrayal of Black women, African American women, as a Jezebel is as old as the story as Jezebel. The portrayal of Black women as lascivious, I love words like that, lascivious by nature is an enduring stereotype. The descriptive words associated with this stereotype are singular in their focus: seductive, alluring, worldly, beguiling, tempting, and lewd. Historically, white women are categorized as self respecting, having self control, modest, even sexually pure. Black women, on the other hand, portrayed as innately promiscuous, predatory. Um, and this I'm getting from Ferris State University's Jim Crow Museum, okay? You ever wonder why there are so many sisters who, are labeled as being angry black women, or why some girls, because of how curvaceous they are, or because they say wear more revealing outfits, they are automatically stereotyped. You ever thought about that? It is literally something that we have been trained. Our brains have been fixed to believe these stereotypes. And I say this all the time. A lot of that is as it relates to how we were treated as slaves. We literally were treated as property because we were property. And as such, slave owners had sex with us however they felt like, whenever they felt like, in front of whoever they felt like. Why? Because when they went to Africa and saw us scantily dressed, in their mind, you live in the Sahara, it's hot. You're not wearing like clothes from head to toe. Um, and just the exposure of our genitals, because if you've ever seen any pictures, any videos of African women, sometimes they are bare chested. So for these Europeans who came to Africa and saw these visuals, they immediately thought, oh my god. And they have to be promiscuous, not promiscuous for me saying from that period, but they had to have thought of them as just being savages and who sex in the woods, in the jungle, like animals. I mean, because the men were portrayed in a negative stereotype as well. So this has kind of carried itself through the years, through the centuries, across oceans. I mean, here's the thing: even though I'm going to talk about the issue with women, African American women, Europeans took this same thing to India. They took this same mentality to China. If you ever get the chance to go to like a sex museum and you see sex toys, dildos that were created out of marble and granite and these things, they were made oftentimes by Asian cultures. Okay, Kama Sutra is an Indian culture, is a South Asian culture. All of these things are South Asian. And yet, when the Europeans showed up, they basically shunned these people. They forced their Christian religion on them, and it was in an attempt to squash this sexual freedom, this sexual expression. And so they did the same thing with the Africans, except for the fact that they treated us like sex toys. Is what I'm just putting it bluntly. They treated us like sex toys. They did things to us, they did things with us, and it left an indelible impression upon us, and primarily us as women. And so it leaves us with this, okay? Um, this article was written by Ashley Towns, PhD. 5 things getting in the way of Black women's sex lives. So, for any of you who live here in Atlanta, you know there is a sex educator for every flavor of the rainbow. But I wanted to go through this article and talk about these 5 things. One of them is how the stereotypes and myths affect Black sexuality. And like I said, right from the very beginning, when we were brought here, or not even before we were brought here, when the Europeans first landed in Africa and first gazed upon us, they instinctively saw us as these animals, sexual animals. So historically, the images of African American women, of black women, have been that of a mammy, a Jezebel, welfare mother, angry black woman. And those are more modern terms. But if you go back into the centuries, we were property. We were a thing that they could just try stuff with. And this has left not only an impression upon us, me as a black woman, it's left this same impression upon society. So we are viewed as promiscuous. We even see ourselves as promiscuous. And for some of us, we actually have we've sort of decided, I'm just going to be that which you think I am. We have taken it in, we own it, and we flaunt our sexuality, never really realizing how it affects our ability to have to have a small relationship, to be intimate with someone is severely affected when you see yourself as this outwardly highly sexual person who's assumed to be out fucking everybody freely, with no regard to your own self-esteem. It, that's a problem. That is a significant problem. um, Second problem we have: health disparities in sexual health care. So again, I live here in Atlanta, and in Atlanta, you can throw a feather. Okay? You can throw a feather and find a sex educator in Atlanta. I'm always flabbergasted when I see people on social media looking for a sex educator, an African American sex educator. And I'm like, what? Like, everybody I know in Atlanta is some sort of a sex educator. Well, apparently, there's not enough in Atlanta to cover the United States, right? So one of the other problems is that this health sex education disparity, and we're going to talk about the actual health disparity because that's another issue. But this idea of sexual health or sexual education as being a barrier to black women having a healthy sex life. And I don't mean sex life in terms of just having sex. I mean sex life in terms of their own perception of self, their own experiences of sex in their sexual life, their sexual health, their sexual education. Yes, Christopher, we are filled. Atlanta is filled with sexperts. And like I said, they're of all varieties. They teach on all different levels. Some of them can teach you how to masturbate, how to get to know your physical body. Some of them can teach you how to get to know the opposite sex's physical body. Some of them teach you how to deal with your own emotional experiences, how to break barriers from traumas and hurts, and so that you can be a whole person with a full and healthy sex life. But a lot of us don't have that level of exposure. What we have instead is things like we are taught in school, if you have sex education, rather than being taught about um, the healthy, how to have healthy experiences, you're taught more about prevention. You're taught more about STDs. You're taught more about abstinence. So for us, we need African Americans, because of this history we have, we need spaces that not only can acknowledge we have had these experiences, but that can recognize they have left this indelible impression on us, and that we flow in these historical stereotypes, and it, whether we want to admit it or not, they actually hold us down, they hold us back. And I know a lot of women who are either have worked through their own stereotypes, worked through their own hurts and traumas, or have just found family, have found tribe, have found their clique that has helped them to have a full and healthy sexual experience. Number 3 on our list: lack of culturally sensitive sex education. So again, this goes back to what I was just saying. And I'm going to tell you what, this isn't even just an African American problem. It's not just a black problem. Sex education as a whole lacks education. Sex education is still federally funded. Therefore, those federal funds are controlled by men, specifically white men. Okay? And what they have done is said, we're not going to teach you how to have sex. We're going to tell you don't have sex. And we're going to tell you why not to have sex. And we're going to tell you that's because you can get a disease. We're going to tell you it's because you can get pregnant. And those same people who tell you about getting pregnant are also the same people who tell you you can't have an abortion. So because the federal government controls the funds that create these sex education programs that lack education, we are getting no support whatsoever on an academic level, on that junior high level, or on that high school level. Whatever grade it is you first get introduced to sex education, that's when you find out there is no sex education. There's no education. What instead you find is there are subjects taught that make you feel worse about who you are and what you're doing, rather than educate you to bring you to a place of confidence. And I'm going to tell you what, I started learning about sex when I was about 5. And my mom, bought me this series of books, and I read them cover to cover. It showed what the anatomy looked like. It used the proper terms. It talked about menstrual flows. It talked about how a penis gets hard, what comes out of the penis. Like, it really, really talked about everything. And that's what was important to how I think to how I've found myself comfortable in my own sexuality. Did I have hurdles to overcome? Sure, I did. We all have something that we work through, but I think I had a positive foundation that allowed me the ability to work through whatever issues I had to work through. So when I had my daughter, I bought her a book that also talked about all these things. It had pictures. It was written on a level that was appropriate for her age. And again, she was 6, 7 years old, something like that. And I remember she had a assignment was to bring in your favorite book. Bring your favorite book to school. My girl wanted to bring her book that taught, it was a American Girl, and I think it was called All About Me. And I had to stop, girlfriend. I was like, okay, no, we can't take that book to school, because it literally showed vagina, it showed boobs, it showed, it showed everything. It showed penis. We can't take that book to school, baby girl. No, that's not going to happen. But the reason I say that is my 6 or 7-year-old was so comfortable with what she saw and had learned in the book. She wanted to share that with everybody. That's what we need. I don't know how else to say it. That is what we need. We need children comfortable. And let me tell you what you'll get from a lot of people is, if you introduce this too early, they'll start having sex early. No, they won't. No, they won't. Because if you explain to them what's going on, then they either will protect themselves or they'll wait because they have an understanding of what's going on. So To all of you with kids, to all of you who know people with kids, encourage them to talk to their kids. It can be weird, it can be awkward, but encourage them. Both my kids know who I am. They know what I do to some extent. Um, but it is not something that I've hidden from them because I want them to be knowledgeable. So, again, lack of culturally sensitive sex education is a hindrance to the Black female's experience. Number 4, a focus on prevention instead of pleasure. Again, this goes back to what I said about sex education not being about education. Um, yeah, I know, right, Christopher? Yeah, I know. How dare she be comfortable? Let me tell you. Yeah, I on more than one occasion I've said to my daughter because she's in college, hey, maybe Casey Carter can do a talk for your people, I mean, because at that age, we all think we know shit. We don't know shit. We just doing shit. But she was more than comfortable with the idea that I would want to talk to her people. So, yeah. But like I said, number 4, focus on prevention instead of pleasure. So again, this goes back to what I said about sex education not having anything to do with education. I'm not even going to beat that horse anymore. It just is what it is. We have to do better. Don't rely on the school systems to teach your children because they ain't teaching. And if you don't know, get a book. There's plenty, 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 plenty of books. Don't leave it to social media to teach your children. Don't leave it to Pornhub, RedTube, whatever other website there is, because that's a whole nother issue. That's a whole nother issue. Because, sidebar. So one day I was flying. I don't know where I was flying to, but on the cover of Time magazine, I saw something that stopped me dead in my tracks. Like I wasn't even in the store. I was walking the terminal when I stopped dead in my tracks because on the cover of Time magazine was some ridiculous story about men, young men, 20s, 30s, talking about having erectile dysfunction. Why? Because of porn. Who the hell are these people? And how much porn, really, how much masturbating are they doing to the porn that they can't have sex normally? Literally 20 and 30 something men could not get it up and they blamed porn. I want you to think about that. How much porn are you watching that you can't come without it? All right, that was my sidebar on that one. And number 5, mistrust of medical providers. Let me just. All right, Black folks, you know where I'm gonna go with this. So, historically speaking, our government has experimented on us. It's given us things. It's given us things. It's tested us for things, but in fact has given us things. Um, and some of this testing was based on the idea that we are these physically strong people. So let me test and see, can I give you, a venereal disease? Can I give you a sexually transmitted disease? Can you fight it on your own? But as it relates to women, do you know that decades ago, when a Black woman had female medical challenges, or if she, say, had a miscarriage, or if she was having heavy flows, or if she had anything related to her sexual organs that was a problem and I'm not even going to say extensive medical work, but if she just had things going on with her reproductive system, they just took it. They were giving hysterectomies to black women like it was candy. You get a hysterectomy. They were the Oprah of hysterectomies. I have my grandmother and my grandmother's sister both had hysterectomies. Oh my God. Like, I don't even know if they were 50 when they had them. They gave these women procedures most of them didn't need the hysterectomy, but it was what they told us would solve whatever feminine, female, reproductive problems we were having. But the reality is, if you take my reproductive organs, I can't have any more kids. So this keeps me from having children that you believe that the government has to pay for. This keeps me probably in your mind from feeling sexual, therefore I won't have any sex, right? I mean, because for some folks, when you take and depending upon how extensive the hysterectomy, back in those days, they were doing full hysterectomies, taking everything. For those of you who don't know, the reproductive system produces hormones that help regulate the female body. So when you take it all, you take a very significant portion of what makes my body do what it do. And it's got all kinds of side effects involved with taking a woman's entire reproductive system. You basically can take a 40-year-old woman and turn her into a 65-year-old woman overnight by taking her entire reproductive system. But that is what they did to us. And therefore, we don't trust the doctor. Today, we don't trust the doctor when the doctor says, oh, here's what's wrong with you. Because I'm going to tell you what, personally speaking, for me, I was experiencing heavy flows. I went to the doctor. I was like, hey, here's this problem, blah, blah, blah. The doctor was like, all right, we'll just do a hysterectomy. I'm like, okay, well, what level? Like, are we talking everything? Are we talking just parts of stuff? Like, what are we talking? The doctor was like, well, you're approaching menopause. We'll just do everything. I'm like, that's a hard stop. Whoa, slow your roll. Can we at least talk about the options? How are you just taking me from 0 to 100 without even discussing it with me? We didn't deal with that doctor anymore. That was the last day that bitch saw me. I'm going to tell you that. And I ended up seeing a man, African American man, told him exactly what that experience was like. He talked me through all the options, told me pick whichever option you want, and that's what we'll do. And I was like, bet, we're going to do this. We're going to do it tomorrow. Now, I didn't do it the next day, but he heard me. He listened, understood why I was freaked out about just that one option. So, oh man, can you see why A, we need the Equal Rights Amendment, and B, we African American women, black women, we struggle and we don't talk about it. Amongst ourselves, we barely talk about it. We know that we're struggling because we show up for one another, but we don't always talk about what we're struggling with. This is why I'm having this conversation now, because I want to share. I want to open dialogue. I want you to know I'm not the expert on some of these things. I know experts on some of these things, but I want you to know it's okay. You're okay. However you feel right now, you're okay. And you have resources. They are available to you. And so let's talk about the conclusion of my topic here, okay? First, you got to become your own advocate. What does that mean? That means you have to fight for yourself. You can't expect someone else to do it for you. You can't expect to, you know, have someone point you in the right direction. You are going to have to fight for every ounce of information that you can get. You're going to have to do the research. You're going to have to confirm. Confirm may mean talking to other people, but you're going to have to do the work. You're not going to be able to just float on through thinking, it's okay, I'm okay, it's okay, I'm okay. No, what's okay is that you're not okay. That's what's okay. And we are all here together to work this out. So, the first thing you want to do, become your own advocate. Speak up for yourself. Next, thanks, Jason. I'm glad you're learning a few things. Next, find things that work for you. This is so very important. And the reason why this is important is because we all seem to think one size fits all, or we think that this person is the most popular. This person's all over the news. This person's all over social media. This person's got more followers than that person. So I gotta follow them. I gotta do what they say. No, you don't. No, you don't. You, like with a good pair of shoes, you buy the shoes that fit. Don't buy them because they cute. Don't buy them because everybody else got them. Don't buy them. It's close to your size. You buy the shoe that fits your foot. Same thing with this. You find the sex educator. You find the counselor. You find the therapist. You find the support group that speaks to you as an individual. Because again, as I just said, you've got to be your own advocate. So you're going to have to do the work. Don't do the work in an environment that you're still uncomfortable in. So that being said, I got friends that I would highly recommend you reach out to, that you go looking for. Marla Renee Stewart, who just had a baby. Cute little boy. Anyway, Marla, amazing. She wrote a book with Dr. Jess O'Reilly. I've had Marla on my show. Great. Marla is such a wonderful spirit. Ty Shaw, I highly recommend, because Ty has a workshop called Activated Goddess. The whole point is you get to be comfortable with you. You get to embrace the woman that you are and feel good about her and make her more powerful and more strong than when you first show up. Dirty Lola. Listen, I could go on. Dirty Lola, great speaker, great information. Another friend of mine, Amina Peterson, Atlanta Tantra. Amina covers like a rainbow, like a whole spectrum of topics that one may work for you. One of these things that one of these ladies is teaching may be the thing you need to start feeling comfortable. And then you make your way around the room of experts and you reach out and you share and you find that every experience, every little bit experience works for you. How about Casey Carter, Lorenzo says? Thank you, Lorenzo. Yes, Casey Carter. I describe myself as a safe space, right? I love being able to embrace you where you are. I love being able to share the information that I have, letting you know you are okay, guiding you along your path to finding the fulfillment that you're looking for. Like I said, I don't have all the answers. I have some answers, not all the answers, but I know folks who have whatever I don't have. And I want to get you out there. Come back to me every week for more. As Jason said, he's learning so much. You come back here every week because you're going to be able to find me right here every Wednesday. Um, but I got friends. I got friends. And speaking of best educator, it's time for another little commercial break. Um, and I'm so not organized today, but here we go, y'all. So, speaking of educator, I have been nominated for two ASN Lifestyle Magazine Awards. One is Best Lifestyle Adult Industry Erotic Writer, and the other is Best Lifestyle Adult Educator. As you see on the bottom, you can go to asnlifestylemagazineawards.com/vote dash 21. Thanks, Christopher. Thank you, Lorenzo. I appreciate your votes. You be voting more than I do, so I thank you. You can vote once every 24 hours from your particular IP address. So, in other words, if you have access to multiple IP addresses, you can vote multiple times a day. I'm just saying. But, in addition, in addition to being nominated for two awards, I am teaching a pervertibles workshop. Also, I am presenting. So basically, the weekend's all about me and ASN. I'm just gonna say it. I ain't scared. Somebody gonna be mad. I don't give a fuck. Weekend, it's all about me and ASN. Me and ASN gonna have a good time. September 16th through 19th. I think those are the right dates. Come on down to Orlando. Top secret results. Top secret resort. And hang out with me and the ASN crew and vote every day. Every day. Every day. Every day. Yes, Jason. Matt Damon. I'm gonna have to steal that. I'm gonna have to steal that. But again, here we go with another break.
I got what you need, I got what you want, I got what you need, tell them giddy up. I got horses in the back, trunk in the front, exterior red and that inside buttercup. I got what you need, I got what you want, I got what you need, tell them giddy up.
All right, so after the show at 10 o'clock, hopefully I spelled this right. If I didn't, my apologies. So as you may know, I do BoobTube on Exotica TV. And tonight's episode is about Charlize Theron. And I spelled her name wrong. I know I did. So let me not put that up there. But watch us, 10 o'clock, Exotica TV on YouTube and Periscope. You know, we got kicked off YouTube for a hot second. We don't even know what happened. But we're back. And I want to see you guys at 10 on Exotica TV. Hang out with us, talk about TV shows. I don't know about y'all, but I hate to say, Jamie Foxx got a show on Netflix. I like Jamie Foxx, but damn it, if you just want to waste money, hey, I got an idea or two. I'm just saying. If we just wasting money, I'm not even going to tell you to watch. I'm just going to say, ooh, it just worked my nerves. Just worked my nerves. And I know I saw something on TV recently and I can't even think of what it was. But anyway, Love the Blonde. Yes. Okay. So let's talk about it. Let's, in case you didn't realize, I got rid of all the extra. I'm back to my head, to my I'm back to this. And I'm very happy about it. I am very happy about it. I missed just being this short Amber Rose Casey. I like the Amber Rose Casey. Okay, real quick. Um, so I'd be in the supermarket in the Publix, not far from here. And for a while, like when I first moved to town, I'd get double takes, and I'm like, why? Why are people looking at me? I don't know none of y'all. I actually had one of the workers in the store ask if I was Amber Rose. I'm like, do I look like Amber Rose? Really? She all high yellow and stuff. And they were like, well, we know that Wiz Khalifa lives not far from here, and we just figured. I was like, oh, nope, 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 not me. That's not me. Sorry, that's not me. But you'd be surprised how many times I got stopped in the Publix and was asked that question. So, yeah. Thank you, Lorenzo. Thank you, Christopher. Yeah, I'm gonna just be right here with y'all, like right here. Crazy thing is, and granted, I know Christopher and Lorenzo, you both kind of do the ball thing, but you know how you have to like train your hair. Well, because this section of hair hadn't been cut in forever, it just was like, nah, bitch, we ain't doing that. No, no. So now I got to go back and train my hair again. Anyway, yeah. See, wait till I start my Peloton. Then we gonna really. Yeah, I know, Christopher. I understand. I'm just saying. You understand what I was saying about the whole. I know you understand me. But yeah. So one more reminder: Peloton. Find me on Peloton. How? Where, Casey? How do I find you on Peloton? Easy. I'm Casey at night on Peloton. Listen, I'm Casey at night everywhere right now. Everywhere. I'm about to just be Casey at night everywhere. This way, y'all ain't gonna have a hard time finding me. Thank you very much, Jason. Look, I did this promo super quick over the weekend. Love it.
I got what you need. I got what you want. I got what you need. Tell them giddy up. I got horses in the back, trunk in the front. Exterior red and that inside buttercup. I got what you need. I got what you want. I got what you need. Tell them giddy up.
I just had to run it again. That little promo, it just tickled me. Because I'm trying to convert everybody over to the Casey at Night on all my socials, my YouTube, my Instagram, Twitter. I haven't created it yet for Tumblr or Facebook, but Peloton. Follow me on Peloton. If you've got a Peloton, follow me on Peloton at Casey at Night. So, my friends. Whew. Told you this was going to be a fast and dirty, a hard and dirty, fast and furious. I don't know, but I threw a lot of stuff at you today. I did. I know I did. And I want you to come back for more because in all seriousness, I am not going to let go of the ERA thing. Not going to let that go. We are now at a point where we have the 38 states to ratify, and it is now, it can be added to the Constitution. However, we have missed the deadline, and we have to figure out whether or not Congress will look at it and rescind the deadline. Because, this is serious. I spent the night talking about the barriers to a healthy sex life for African American women, for Black women. But I started the show by talking about the barriers for women in general. Okay, so as long as there are barriers to equality for women, as long as there is no federal level protection for women, we will continue to be treated like second-class citizens. We will continue to have our lives and our bodies controlled by not just men, but specifically white men. And it's not a racial thing. It is literally white men who are controlling the lives, the futures of women, And I want you to understand there is a hierarchy, and black women are at the bottom of the hierarchy. So the ERA and our health, our sexual health, our mental health, our physical health, they are closely connected. Closely connected. When you think white men, white women, black men not too far from the white women, and black women down here somewhere scrubbing the floor for all them motherfuckers, I'm just saying, I need y'all to help me with this ERA thing. And I need y'all to show up every week so we can continue this conversation. I want you to recommend to your friends, to your female friends, your mom, your sister, your cousin, your auntie, your auntie's girlfriend who, be at the party with the drink hitting all over you. Tell them all. We need to be having conversation. We need to be talk. They need to come see Casey at night so that we can just do this thing. But in the meantime, I want to thank you for watching the show, and I hope to see you next week. Have a good night. Bye.